so the next question is asking what is the pH at the equivalence point? Now, if you recall, the equivalence point is that point in the titration where the amount of sodium hydroxide and the amount of HCl in terms of moles are the same, right? So you would have added just enough sodium hydroxide so have to react with all the HCl. So you'll notice here that in the case of a strong acid, strong base titration, the pH is 7. And we're going to see why that is the case by tackling this problem. So let me go here and do I have any space below? Oh yes, okay, so I don't need to erase. So to answer this problem, it's actually quite simple. Let me draw a line here. Okay, so this is the C part, all right? So basically, first thing I'm going to say is that at the equivalence point, the moles of HCl would be equal to the moles of sodium hydroxide, all right? That's what the equivalence point means. Now, we need to find the volume of the solution at that point. And in this case, it's quite easy because we need to find first the volume of sodium hydroxide, which would be the same as the volume of hydrochloric acid because the two solutions are of the same molarity. So therefore, we had information that the volume of sodium hydroxide, or HCl I should say, is 1.00 liters. And the same is true for the volume of NaOH is equal to 1.00 liters. So therefore, when you add them up, you're going to get 2.00 liters, right? So what would be the moles of each of them? 0.100 moles, right? We got that from the question itself, right? So basically, this is how we're going to set up our ice table. NaOH plus HCl to give NaCl plus H2O. And then initially, the moles of hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide will be the same. This would be 0. Don't need to worry about that. The change here is, of course, because these two are the same, they're both limiting reactants in the sense that they will react with each other completely. So therefore, the change here would be minus 0.100. Here is going to be minus 0.100. This will be plus 0.100. No, nothing to worry about there. So at the end of the reaction, you're going to have none of this, and you're only going to have in the solution sodium 0.100 m moles of sodium chloride. Now remember, sodium chloride is a neutral salt. All right? So what does that mean? Well, we have no sodium hydroxide, so that won't affect the pH. We have no HCl, so that won't affect the pH. And because sodium chloride is neutral, and of course water is, that means that the pH of the solution at this point would be equal to 7 because it's neutral. All right, so that's basically how that is answered. All right, okay, the next question we're going to look at in the next video. Okay, why is this thing not responding? Okay, so the next question is what is the pH when the volume of sodium hydroxide has been added that is equal to half the amount required to reach the equivalence point, all right? Basically, that would be 0.5, hold on 1 minute. Anyway, I'll answer that question in the next video, all right? So until next time. Okay, this thing is...